Hello everybody, welcome to round 7 of the Limited Adhesion Radical Championship. We've escaped America and for the second time this season, we're in Japan for the Tsukuba circuit. This is the Tsukuba 2000 track and I am Gareth and I'm joined as always by Jim. How are you doing, Jim?
Very well, enjoying the sunshine and virtually in Japan now. We're going to be going to Tsukuba, which is a lovely little track and nice to get away into a proper circuit rather than the ovals, although the ovals provided us a lot of entertainment as we saw last week.
Yeah, we had a titanic scrap up and down the field last week at Daytona, and if we have a look at the standing, including the drop scores, remember this championship is your best 8 scores from the 11 rounds. You've got Gavin Kelly, he's sitting on 75 points. With Mark Tranter, after only 3 rounds, he is up to second place with 68 points. Stephen Batty is third on 49, 1 point ahead of David Line on 48. Will Burnett on 46 and Rob Miller on 41. From 7th, we've got Hankin, then Jim Kimberley, who's still scored, obviously, despite his retirement, Gareth Winslade, Gary Jones, Paul Dixon, and Lawrence Aaron Jenkins, the Ledge. So tell us about this track then.
You've got a tight hairpin to start the race off, where that might be a bit interesting for the first corner and the first lap. 1 by 1 through corners 2, 3, 4, into another hairpin of turn 5. You've got to actually it's turn 5 and 6, but it's 1 hairpin left-hander, and you can stay on camber on it and take a very tight inside line, but it's got good overtaking spots. And then it's a right-hander in turn 7, and then a very quick left in 8 and 9 before a final hairpin before you get on the back straight, all the way into a very, very long right-hander, and then on the way out you can abuse the exit as you cross the line. So get a very quick lap through here, and these radicals should be having a lot of fun going across this track.
Yeah, a very tight track I was expecting for these radicals. Do you think anyone could attack onto that middle left-hand hairpin?
I think depending on how you get your exit out of the first corner, that hairpin could be an overtaking spot. If you do get a nose in, the car on the outside, it's going to have to yield. But both the cars then are going to be on camber, and they can use that to their benefit to really steer themselves around.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just thinking back to sort of Mark Tranter's exploits in the first few laps of Daytona and how he charged through the field, and just thinking if any of these very quick guys do have a bad quali, where are they going to be attacking and where they're going to be passing?
Yeah, well, I think you've got 3 overtaking spots here, and all of them are around the hairpins.
Yeah. Do we think it's going to be the 4th week of the Kelly Tranter side by side?
No, sure. Well, the cream does seem to rise to the top, and those two have been at it for 3 races in a row. It's going to be, again, enthralling racing between those two and the rest of the grid.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. Good for the league, good for everyone. Well, let's take a look at that pole lap now.
We are on board with Tranter, who got pole position as he goes into turn 1, and you can take multiple lines into this corner. He takes a nice early apex and a late apex as well before he straightens the car, gets a bit of oversteer, goes on the curbs, braking on that second curb into the middle hairpin. No oversteer or understeer going out of there, and then we've got a slow right, manages to a little snaps as he gets back on the power before the final hairpin. And it's very important you get a good drive out of this. Use some of that camber, because this now is all about power and the speed you can carry into the final corner. Drops down to 4th. Easy on the throttle, feathering it down and taking a lot of runoff there, and finishes in first place with a 51.621. So that great qualifying by Tranter puts him on the front row with that 51.6, and he's joined alongside with Dave Line, who finished about 4 tenths behind. Kelly makes up the start of row 2 and joined alongside by Rob Miller, who had a time about 9 tenths behind that of Tranter. Burnett, just shy of Miller, is in 5th place, joined alongside by Tony Hankin, with Lawrence Aaron Jenkins, the Ledge, with a good time, finishing 7th place and just ahead of Stephen Batty in 8th. Winslade finishes 3 seconds adrift in 9th place, and Dixon, who must have had some problems in qualifying, is in 10th place, and Gary Jones starts 11th and last without setting a time.
So here we are on the grid then for round 7 of the Limited Adhesion Championship. Will it be carnage or will it be confection? There's 11 very fast cars in a very short track. And here they go off the line.
No spins off the grid.
Tranter's leading from line into T1. Has a look on the inside line, but decides better of it. Jules running out wide there. And look at Miller up and challenging Kelly on the run to the hairpin. Well, Jones had a spin in the back.
Well, with Miller and Kelly going, oh, there's a big spin in the background. There's 2 spins at least.
We saw Batty, Winslade and Dixon.
Hankin spinning as well, yeah. And you've got Batty in the pits and Winslade going for another spin.
Yeah, he's battling Dixon there, but he's just dropped it on his own.
Almost took out Jones. Was that going past? No, Jones passed now. It's Hankin going past.
Hankin. So Winslade straight onto the attack against Jones here.
He wants to take those positions back.
Yeah. And cut back to the... Wow, Tranter's called a huge lead straight away. 1.5 seconds to David Line in second place. And there's Miller
spinning in the background. That's a terrible place, and looks like the ledge got caught up in it. Hopefully avoided contact, but no, the ledge is on the grass as well. Hankin going through.
Burnett had to take to the grass on the inside to avoid the accident. He did work going. He's in 4th place. We're looking at Miller being chased by Hankin.
And Winslade's got past Jones and now looking to get past the ledge. So Lawrence defending now from 2 cars. And Winslade's gone for another spin.
He's having a torrid opening few laps here.
Still 1 ahead of Batty, but is Winslade pitting? No, he's still running.
Batty's in the pits for repairs.
Well, we've got
so the ledge here running in 8th place.
Yeah. He'll be thinking what could be if he hadn't got caught up in Miller's accident. So far it looks like we've had a few spins but no contact. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Well, there's the ledge spinning on his own, unfortunately. It's T1. We're on board with Gary Jones as he comes through. So Lawrence drops to 9th, but he's still ahead of Winslade.
We've got Miller there with a bit of a bent rear wing from his spin. Just ahead of Hankin, just trying to make up the positions that they've lost. And you can see quite a big gap now. We've got Tranter, Line, Kelly, Burnett, who have all been devoid of spins, and then Dixon, Miller, Hankin in a little race of their own. And Jones, the ledge, and Winslade going to be way further back with Batty. Batty looks like he's come out of the pits, but he's a lap down.
Yeah, there's only a short track as well, so these cars should be keeping quite close together on the track. There's nowhere to run and hide this week. So here we can see...
Yeah, he's getting right up tight, isn't he?
This is the middle hairpin, first gear corner. And getting up to 3rd gear before this right hand. So three hairpins on the track, plenty of places to overtake, but the straights aren't particularly long. Oh, here goes Miller. Textbook dive to the inside. Great move there.
Well, Dixon will be annoyed how much space he gave Miller there, but he's straight back on the attack. These 3 running really close.
This isn't really an overtaking corner, but
no, it's not.
Hankin's going for it. Go Tony. Look into the inside. It's a very fast 4th gear corner. Plenty of curve on the exit and into T1 again.
You can see these guys getting a bit more confident on their tyres now as they're going for the moves, and Dixon might be sliding back down into what will be 7th place. Hankin giving a lot of attention into the middle hairpin.
And here we're looking at Lawrence again, with Stephen Batty behind him. I'm trying to unlap himself. A little wild there from Batty in the exit.
Batty will be frustrated being that far behind. It's must have been a big impact at the start. We'll maybe get a replay of that later.
Yeah. Cutting to the inside there.
It's not an overtaking spot, but if he sees an open door,
he's going to try and find a way into the last hairpin.
It's hairpins on this track. There's 3 of them, but not necessarily overtaking spots unless somebody makes a mistake.
Yeah, there's going to be a fairly different sort of... Oh!
Oof! Was that a contact or was that another spin?
Batty just collected the back of Lawrence there, where he was caught out by the difference in closing speed, and Lawrence diving into the pits. And here's a replay of the start then, on board with Winslade. There's Batty on the right, he just avoids the ledge.
See the hesitation there, he would have had his heart in his mouth.
Wow, Winslade nearly straight in the back of Batty there, into the outside.
We see where Batty had his problem?
Yes, so we should see what happened then. So Batty on the brakes, Winslade on the... so Batty went into the back of Hankin, and then
Winslade decided to be as dirty as usual by whacking him mid-hairpin.
Yeah, and on board with Jones now.
So the slow starting ledge on the left.
But that's probably helped him when we know what's coming up in that hairpin just up the road.
Well, he fancied to look on the inside, but the door closed very quickly.
Oh, he's on the grass. Dropped it on his own, getting on the grass there. So lap 2 replay.
Spin, is it? All by himself.
Oh, and so Burnett did actually clip him then, so both cars taking a bit of damage here.
Burnett got away with it, and unfortunately the ledge span trying to avoid it, slamming the anchor zone.
Yeah, so now we're on board with Tony Hankin chasing down Paul Dixon onto the back straight now, with the fourth gear corner ahead of us, the final corner.
It looks like my previous statement that there's a lot of spins but no contact was completely incorrect with that first lap. There was a multitude of sins on that middle hairpin.
Yeah, plenty of contact, unfortunately. Hankin looking to the inside, nothing doing in this lap.
See, I find the first corner quite a curious one, because you can take multiple lines and they all seem to be quite quick, but you can leave yourself quite open to how tight they get in there. But you can leave yourself open to an overtake if you go for a wide entry, but you still can be quicker than taking a tight line through. But it depends on how you want to drive. If you're going to be driving defensively, like Dixon's having to do now, that tight line might be preferable.
Yeah, you're right, because being on the outside, as you say, you leave yourself open to a bit of a lunge. And you come to complete another lap already, so you can see just how fast this track is. And out front then, to check in on that, we've got Mark Tranter still leading, David Lyne 5.5 seconds behind now, Gavin Kelly. Nice. Great driving from the pair of these guys.
Nice and clean, yeah, this is good.
Could that be commentator's curse coming up?
I don't think it could happen at this race so far with regards to spins and contact. Aside from the front, it must be said, the top three very much in the zone. No spins that we've seen so far. Tranter controlling the race with a 5-second gap.
Quite tight between Gavin Kelly and David Lyne there. You can see just under a second between them. And their best lap times are almost identical as were their last laps. So those guys are really having a battle.
Lyne, of course, looking for his
moment.
Yeah, well, Lyne's of course looking for his first victory. He's had quite a few podiums now. Might be getting another one at this rate as well, keeping Kelly. Oh,
Dixon
behind.
Just getting it slightly wrong there. This is the run to the middle hairpin.
Hank can have an opportunity now with that mistake. They're running as close as you'd like, aren't they?
Yeah. A lovely addition to our coverage to see this track map in the top right corner showing you can see where the cars are on the track with that white circle indicator, so you can see we're in that final hairpin at the top left-hand corner of the track map. We're now heading down the back straight.
You can see by that map as well how lonely a race Miller's having. He's trying to chase down Burnett, but no success yet. He ruined his spin.
Yes, you're right. And you can see there the extra marker showing where Mark Tranter is compared to where David Lyne and Gavin Kelly are. So Tranter now lapping people in the hairpin and onto the back straight, whereas Dave and Gavin are just through their hairpin now. That's what 5 seconds looks like on this track.
It's a great camera angle we've got here. You can just see the different lines and how Dixon and Hankin are having different lines going through, taking the curbs, not taking the curbs, different braking points.
It's like the Batmobile, that Tony Hankin car. Lovely glossy sheen when it gets close to us. So last week we were talking about quick repairs and things. I don't know if we explained it to people, but in iRacing you get one quick repair each race, so you're able to come into the pit, stop in your stall, and your car is instantly repaired. But if you obviously have damage the second time, you're going to be in for a longer stop.
Indeed, and those longer times can be rather significant depending on the damage. It's good that you can get back out on the track, but you could be in there for 5 minutes longer. It's really can be quite painful for that second visit, which is why the quick repair is so good, especially on the early laps where contact and spinning on those cold tyres is more likely to happen.
Indeed, and we see, wow, and there's Mark Tranter having a spin on his own in the middle hairpin.
That's going to allow line to really close up.
Oh, and that's the last car you want to see when you're having that spin.
That's Winslade going through there.
Lapping himself. And here we go then, here's that battle. The super fight has been raging all race. Gavin Kelly charging away trying to get to David Lyon, and this is as close as they've been for a long time. Under 2 seconds is the gap.
Wednesday very politely letting Tranter get through, but Lyon will be able to see how close he is to Tranter now. That might spur him on.
Yeah. And obviously, Dave will not want to be seeing a back marker in front of him.
Not this section of the track. Yeah, not this section in particular. It's so tight here, difficult. Wednesday does have to get really out of the way, compromising himself.
And he dives to the outside of the hairpin to give these guys some room.
We've got the top three covered by about 3.5 seconds now, so this has really changed the perspective of the race for the podium and victory. Lyon now within 2.5 seconds of what would be his first victory of the season.
Yeah, it's revitalised what was beginning to look like an absolute rout of everyone else by Mark Tranter. Just romping away. There's Gary Jones having a bit of a lonely run away to T1, but he's now being chased by the top three.
These top three, of course, are essentially our championship contenders, so really important where they finish in this race.
Absolutely, you're very correct there. So we're on board now with Tony Hankins, still behind Paul Dixon.
Well, Burnett has slipped down the order, just looking at the times here. So Burnett was running behind Kelly, and now he's found himself 32 seconds behind the leaders. So has Burnett had a problem?
Great spot, Jim, and here he is in the pits. So what happened to Mr. Burnett?
He's got a bit of a dent on his rear wing.
But did that happen from the earlier contact with Rob? I'm not sure. Hopefully we'll get a replay. So you can see the quick repair has happened. Straight rear wing, and out it comes. Oh, straight into, that's not where you want to be rejoining. Straight into the lead battle.
Very good there by Burnett getting out of the way.
Yeah. And Gary Jones up ahead. Do you think he's seen the blue flags? And is he aware of what is bearing down upon him?
You see the difference in the pace of these front runners here, how far back now Winslade is, having a bit of a tough race with his few spins, but these three so much quicker. Yeah, Kelly would barely see Winslade. Yeah.
Getting on the power way earlier than everyone else. Carrying more speed at the apex of every corner. So Mark's found his way past Gary Jones. Dave and Gavin both have to get through Burnett and Jones.
Gavin taking a very wide line. There's no penalty for that. It allows quite a long way off the track and that green AstroTurf area.
The speed he carried out to the outside now, I thought he was hoping for an accident. Into the hairpin they come again.
This is not what Lyon and Kelly want when they're trying to hone down on the leader. Tranter's allowed to get himself, 3 seconds ahead now. Oh, Jones has had a spin. Everyone managed to navigate around that. Now.
Replay of lap 12. This must be what happened to Burnett. Oh, he's dropped it on his own in the hairpin.
Looks like did he drop a gear too early potentially?
I expect so. Yeah, not the diff.
But that's not going to be a result in as much time as he lost. So second.
But that will.
Yeah, that will indeed.
Same
Miller
corner.
makes his way through.
And Lawrence. And here we go, cutting back, and Gavin was definitely having a look there on the inside. Ryan cut him off. And they've both got through Burnett now.
Burnett would have been trying to get on the back of the tails of this race, or this competition for second place, but not a lap down as he's found himself.
No. And the last car on the lead lap is Sonny Hank in 6th place, which is just shows the big delta in lap time difference. Because a short track like this does result in a lot of lapping.
Lawrence having a tiny bit of a spin as well. It's going to affect their Dixon and Hank are going to be fighting for it.
And you got to feel sorry for Lawrence in this race because through practice and things, he was showing a very competitive pace. He qualified well on the grid, and just to get collected in a racing incident, but a very unfortunate one with Batty just being caught out by the difference in lines and speed into the final corner. It's such a shame. I hope he comes that strong in Phoenix next week.
Indeed, we can see
this race isn't over as well. He's still got 9 minutes to put on back.
You can see Lawrence's pace I don't think it's particularly holding. It might be a smidge slower than this battle for 5th. So it will be frustrated. He's taking different lines there and now lets them go past.
I think his confidence has been knocked in this race because he was faster than this before. So you can see he's doing 53s, but he was in 52s before in practice and early in the race, I think. Oh no, not in the race.
Is it possible that he might be running with some damage then, which could be affecting his pace?
No, he's been in to be repaired already, so I'm just hoping he can re-engage and start attacking. See what he can do.
I really see that Batmobile look now that you've mentioned it. I can't get it out of my head.
Wonder if we can influence Tony to get that logo on his car for next week. You see there, he was struggling with a little bit of overstick on it. You just see that back him was trying to overtake the car, overtake the front of the car. And still he's chasing Paul.
He'd be dying to see a different view than the rear of Dixon's car. It's been looking at it the entire race.
Yeah. But he's just showing, I mean, these two are both running incredibly similar pace, and there's no way through because there's not enough of a difference in their lap time. So he's got to hope for a mistake from Paul, really, because a lunge he's going to end in tears for the pair of them.
Well, it's funny you say that. Have we seen an overtake on track yet that hasn't been a result of somebody having an incident?
I'm struggling to think of one, to be honest.
Well, Miller looking to get past Jones here to be lapping, of course.
Should be to lapping it, so this will be when he's moves to the inside. And Mark stretched his lead out front again to nearly 6 seconds. So there it is, 6 seconds. And behind Dave is Gavin Kelly, still very close together.
We've got Burnett here going for an outside move on Jones for the battle for 8th.
And this is the position, like you say. He's looking
closely at the Cox Jones. He does look very terrified, doesn't he?
Yeah. Did he unlock bridge again? Into the hairpin.
Very different braking zones there, those two in close. Burnett will be looking to get past. Of course, he had more pace than Jones with his position earlier, and he's only back down where he is through his incidents at that middle hairpin.
Yep, as you say, but it's it's your own mistakes. Same for Winslow ahead of him as well. There was mistakes in the opening laps.
Well, Burnett there showing that you can overtake at the track. That turn one with multiple lines in there, he's got maybe a bit of a pace delta on Jones, but clearly makes his way through.
Yeah, good to see a clean move. Well done, Will. Nice move. And now chasing down Winsley. So who's the fade line still in second place? Still keeping Gavin Kelly behind him.
So do you think from previous races that there's been the Kelly and Tranter show for a little while? Of course, not last week when Kelly finished in third place, but the top two have been those two. Do you think that Kelly would have a bit more pace, but he just can't get past the line now? Or do you think this is as fast as we're going to be getting and Tranter just has that much more of an edge on these two?
I think it's the latter. I think Tranter's just got the edge on him in this track. He's doing pre-practice. I think Kelly could. He's got a little bit more, but in race conditions to keep pumping that time in, I think he'd struggle.
Indeed. Well, I saw from the qualifying rate, the qualifying positions, the gap was significant, and let's face it, Line had out-qualified Kelly, and now he's reaping the reward for that.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, we saw some pre-race banter from Gavin that he was going to try and get into the 49s around here, but seeing as there's never been a 49-second background, I think that was probably a little optimistic. Oh, Hankins just dropping in and out there.
That was a stealth mode on the back wheel, I think, isn't it?
Yeah.
So on board with Tranter now, clear track ahead of him, controlling this race, 4.5 minutes to go. Look at those, the lap times. We've got 50.8 here for Tranter as his best lap. That's rapid. You see they're taking advantage of that exit onto the start-finish line.
Well, he's just so smooth with it as well. I mean, you see everyone else is sort of wrestling a lot more with the car, but Mark's just untroubled on his way here.
Well, he did have the one first. Right there, actually. The fact he's been able to pull out another 5 seconds from the 2-second gap he had to Line behind him shows, that the speed is very much with him, isn't it?
Yeah, you had to assume that it's going to be another unforced error that was stopping him in this race. Under 4 minutes to go now. And he's got the ledge up ahead.
Was an unforced error at Texas Speedway that cost him the victory when him and Kelly were battling the entire race before he spun on the final corner.
Right, yeah. And he had that unforced at Daytona as well, but didn't stop him getting back to the front and taking the win now.
Back now to to Dixon and Hank and the twins here who've been unseparated this entire race.
Well, both of them are just driving beautifully though, and there's Batty in the background too. Is he looking to unlap himself from these guys?
Well, this always makes me think, would you prefer to be the car chasing or the one being chased? So if you're being chased, you've obviously got position, but you're feeling the pressure, and if you're doing the chasing, then it gives you a target to follow, but you might follow them into mistakes potentially. So I'm being very surprised and encouraged by these two not having problems, not having contact, staying line astern pretty much the entire race. I don't know which position I'd prefer to be in, that of Hankin or that of Dixon.
I'd prefer to be the chaser. I think he can put the pressure on. But with the Radical, we do see dirty air. So trying to hold the car through some of these faster corners, like that last corner that Burnet's just come through, would be much harder with, as I say, with the dirty air. So we're on board with Winslow here, looking back at Burnett, who's trying to recover from his earlier accident, got past Gary Jones, and trying to get past Winslow now to get 7th place.
There's not much time left for him to do it, so if Winslow can keep him behind, that'll be another couple more points for him at the end of this race.
I was looking to the inside. Whoa, that was close.
As close as you're going to get. Wow. No spin. Well done both for holding on to that.
You see Winslow trying trying to take the defensive lines and shut the door on the apex of the corner. Look at that. Burnett just got a much better run out the final corner there. Looks to the inside.
Was this where he overtook earlier?
Winslay's just squeezed him. Burnett had to bail out of that one.
Was that a dirty Winslade, or was that all fair?
I think it's fair, but it was marginal.
Just seeing that little tint of green there on Burnett's car. Is anybody else, or is it just me getting a Barney the Dinosaur vibes off that?
Oh, now I'm never going to see that.
We've got Batmobile and Barney on this track.
Let's hope that we're going to the outside here.
It's not where you overtake, but you might get a better drive off the last corner to get on the inside maybe for the final corner.
I think he's got to be teeing it up for T1, really. Yeah, let's hope that Burnett gets another license and moves out of the Class B, I guess, with the green. To the outside. Winslay's taking defensive inside line. But that's not stopping Burnett. He's going round the outside here. Can he make it? Oh no, touched.
So frustrating there from Winslade. Burnett wasn't having any of that.
Around. Winslay's been turned around. Definitely a racing incident there.
We've got Jones on the back of him now. Jones might be feeling he might be able to get past him. If Winslade's carrying any damage, maybe he will.
He's carrying a lot there. It's like that right rear wheel's been exposed to the body went back. And the Dixon-Hankin battle is right behind. The blue
5
flags.
of the cars on this track now, all quite close together. Different laps entirely.
And in all of that, we haven't quite noticed that we're on the last lap here. So
actually, I need to correct myself there. Batty is all of a sudden got himself with Jones and Winslade in front of him for position.
Yeah, well spotted. He's got to get past Hankin and Dixon, or they've got to get past Gary Jones to allow Batty to have a run.
This could be anybody at this point if any more contact. Oh, Dixon, then I'd be trying to just be calm and patient. Don't need to get past those guys. Just need to make sure that you can hold Hankin behind. It goes further move. Oof. We've got Hankin and Batty now.
Batty's tucking him for some slipstream. Winslay's car is looking very second-hand at this point. That accident, and they all finish the race. So, and here on board with some donuts for our winning driver, Mark Tranter. So, Mark Tranter wins the race from David Lyon in second place, Gavin Kelly in third, Rob Miller falls back to fourth place, Paul Dixon and Tony Hankin, after a stellar pair of drives, coming in fifth and sixth place. Burnett finishes 7th place after punting Winslade into a spin, although I think Winslade has to take 50% of that accident blame himself. He finishes in 8th place. 9th place for Gary Jones, 10th place for Stephen Batty, and 11th place for Lawrence Aaron Jenkins. So Jim, what did you think of it? How did you make of the race?
I was hopeful there'd be more competition into those hairpins, and I think it really shows the tight, twisty nature of this. This might be the Monaco of the Limited Adhesion Championship, as those who weren't making mistakes weren't getting past. Simple as that. We saw that in particular with Dixon and Hankin the entire race, and to a lesser extent on the footage with Kelly and Line. But thankfully, those from 7th place and below made up for that by having quite a few spins and contact themselves, which gave us a bit more entertainment.
Yeah, an enjoyable race, but not quite as many side-by-side battles as we're particularly used to. Let's have a look at the standings then after round 7. Gavin Kelly maintains his lead at the top with 129. Mark Tranter now 93 points, so he is closing in. David Lyon, 3rd place in 80 points. And you've got Burnett, Miller, Hankin, Batty, Kimberley, Winslade, Dixon, Jones and The Ledge. Well, another entertaining race. Not quite so many passes as we used to, but I'm sure normal service will be resumed next week when we are at Phoenix. Jim, thanks so much for being with me once again.
It's a pleasure. Thank you for having me, and I'll see you all next week, folks.
Thank you all. Bye.